Now it's time for a business spotlight. This is the Adelaide Project.
Hello and welcome to the Adelaide Project Business Spotlight, brought to you by podcastcity.com.au. If you're looking for a way to engage your audience with your amazing content, then you need to talk to them about producing, recording, editing, or just video recording and distributing your very own podcast. Just go to podcastcity.com.au. I'm Ron Fiedler. Welcome back to the Adelaide Project Business Spotlight, a podcast and radio show that brings you the best people, business and events in Adelaide that you may not hear on the mainstream media. Today on the podcast and radio show, we have the pleasure to introduce you to one of Adelaide's highly respected and successful law firms and one of the fastest growing practices in Adelaide, a law firm that has a legal team of experienced business lawyers who are dedicated to helping their clients succeed. They deal in everything from small transactions to complex cases in a wide range of areas, including corporate and commercial advisory, property and construction, migration and international business, and commercial dispute resolution, to name a few. And is led by its principal solicitor and the winner of Australasian Lawyer Rising Star Award winner in 2022. Please welcome to the Adelaide Project Business Spotlight Principal Solicitor Mark Gustavsson from Mark Gustavsson and Associates. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ron. It's great to be here.
It is an absolute pleasure to have you here. You are one person that I really admire because you're out there every day cracking it and getting results for your clients. Mark, you have a positive outlook. You run a successful law firm that is one of Adelaide's highly respected and successful firms, and you are really engaging in the business community. I would like to find out more about your drive. Where did your passion for law start, and how did you get to where you are today?
Thanks, Ron. And can I just say, again that it's really great to be here. And I really, likewise, I look at what you and Karen are doing here with the Adelaide Project and Podcast City, and am very impressed and admire what you guys are doing as well. So
thank you, Mark. That's a lot coming from you. I appreciate that.
No, thank you. Look, as for my passion for law, it's a very good question. I've always worked in small business. I put myself through study, through working at nightclubs, casinos, hospitality venues, libraries, but it was always a small business that I was working for. And I think what that really grew inside of me was a real understanding of the issues that small business faced.
Yeah.
As well as some of the regulatory hurdles that businesses face that are imposed on them by the law. So I think one of my decisions to go into law probably stems from just wanting to improve the small business community. And within South Australia, because South Australia is my home. So it was a very natural pathway for me to go into legal practice in circumstances where I just had such a passion for small business issues.
And with the small businesses that you were involved in, you saw that sort of red tape and what they went through. How do you find that it relates to what you're doing now in your law firm? Do you have more empathy or more passion for the business owner?
It's quite funny, because all the way through school, I was always told that I had a big mouth. And the funny thing is that no matter the teachers trying to knock it out of me, it's funny that I've ironically built a career around not keeping my mouth closed sometimes on very key issues. So as for how I got here today,
we'd like to find out more about you and what your passion is and how you got here today. Your passion for law and how you built up from working in a practice to actually starting your own.
Oh yes. How I got here today, look, it certainly has been a team effort from a lot of family, friends, clients, colleagues, supporters, referrers. There is a list longer than my arm of people that I am indebted to for being here today, and people who I'm perpetually grateful for, people who could see the vision that we wanted to achieve at our firm and wanted to support us and support our clients. I think where the whole team at, not only Mark Gustavsson and Associates, but also our sister law firm, Oceanic Legal and Migration, have gotten to where we are today. It's through the support of many, many people. Yeah. There is a list longer than my arm of people I have to thank and who have provided support, who continue to provide support, friends, family, mentors, colleagues, and I think at the core of it, our clients who trust us with not only their smaller commercial transaction and corporate advisory issues, but also who trust us to represent them in contentious litigation, in hotly fought litigation. And it's those clients that have trusted us to provide a good service and who keep coming back, fortunately for us, so that we can work another day. So I think they've all been a big support, but certainly the clients are there has been our number one reason why we're still here today.
And it must be good because you're getting a lot of different style of clients, not just the one type, but you're getting it from all over the place. And the reason I think they come to you is because of that caring nature, the understanding of, it's not just ka-ching dollars, it's about them and what you can achieve for their outcome. I know when I see you at events and all, people are drawn to you, and the reason they are is because of your caring nature. And Mark, your family is so important to you. You're very tight-knit, your family, and they've supported you all the way through to get to where you are today. Tell us a little bit about that. You've got your sister that works with you, and you've got your mum and dad. It must be great to have them so close.
Yeah, hugely. Look, I feel quite closely to organisations such as the Australian Small Business and Family Enterprise Ombudsman, as well as other organisations like the Family Business Association, the FBA. And I think it's because I come from a family business. I come from a family of business, and we all work very closely together with one another. It can be an interesting dynamic sometimes, balancing family dynamics with the needs of the business and commercial needs, but it's something that I'm really glad to say that I think we've got a nice balance on, and certainly I'm constantly grateful for the support that my sister provides the business through her financial management of what we do, as well as my parents, my mum and dad, who not only provide the roof over our heads as a business, but also who provide the support, the family support and the emotional support for what can be a very stressful and trying career choice at sometimes.
Yeah, it would. It would be. I mean, you've got literally at times people's livelihoods in your hands, and you've got to deal with these, and it must be very, stressful to think I just can't let these people down. And that's what is the best thing about you. You go that extra mile to help them to achieve the outcome that they need. Mark, your law firm and your associates have an emphasis on new technology and pioneering legal concepts, ensuring that the objectives of your clients are met. And you believe that the legal profession is outdated, old style and overly conservative in nature, and your firm is on a mission to change this. Can you please inform our listeners more about how you and your associates are changing the way people see law firms?
Yes, certainly, Ron. I think consumers of legal services are becoming more sophisticated for years, and it's a trend that's been happening where people have wanted more cost certainty and more understanding of what's behind the curtain. I think they're no longer willing to see lawyers as being the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain anymore. And they want to know what value they're receiving for their legal spend. Certainly our firm and the firms that I'm involved in, we're a younger group naturally. I don't know whether that's just because of a bit of luck or maybe it's just because of who we've attracted as a firm culture, But yeah, we're certainly looking to energise the profession, energise the profession to the extent of still being respectful and acknowledging the important place that a sensible and reasoned thinking. I think we've become quite a young firm naturally, and I think that's come probably a mixture of good fortune, but also just a mixture of that's the kind of culture, or that's what we've attracted through the culture that we are.
Yeah.
So I think what we try and get a balance of is that we like to inject ideas into how we practice, how we advocate for people, which are a little bit more progressive whilst still being sensible and policy-based and underwritten by reason and law. So I think certainly when you're passionate, that can sometimes be seen and interpreted as a reckless.
Yeah.
But when in the truth of the matter is that it's anything but. So certainly, I would certainly say that passionate advocacy is what we want to be known for. It's what we're becoming known for.
Yeah.
And certainly we're becoming that firm that attracts client issues where you really need an intelligent minds on the job.
So it's more like you're keeping the basis of what law is and what a law firm is, but you're modernizing it. You're using more, you're understanding the modern culture that we are in today, that it's not, like in business, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. We're using social media more now. We've got different ways of interpreting law compared to we did in the past when it was just black and white. You're more moving with the times, basically.
Look, I think so. And I think one of the things that it's certainly never been the intention is to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And, and I think one of the things that really drives the decisions that we make is that we try and inject our own sense of what the right thing is, at considerations of corporate social responsibility.
Yes.
Considerations of just what is the right thing to do? What is the good thing to do? And we give expression to those considerations through our interpretation and our enforcement of the law of the land.
Yeah.
So
you're changing the way, and that's what I like about what you're doing is it's, as you said, doing the right thing, not just because you have to do it. And what I mean by that is, yes, there's basis of law that you must follow, and you must make sure that, the law is upheld, but you choose the way you do it in the sense of making sure that it's ethically correct.
Yeah, that's right. And look, that's not to say we of course we're always advocating for our clients' best interests.
Yeah.
We love to play the game, we know the game, and we love to win. We love to win for our clients. But I think where we really give expression to our desire to do good is just through our partnerships with good organisations like JusticeNet, like other organisations from whom we accept pro bono briefs, and in circumstances where there might not be commercial matters there for us, we'll still help because at the end of the day, our core mission is to use law as a force for good.
Yes.
So while we like to win and play the game, we always make time to do good for society or do what we think is the right thing to do.
And that's just great because that's what we need to change, and that's what you're doing. Mark, look, whatever a successful business is, or when you have a successful organisation, it's the team behind you. And you've already touched on this. How important are your associates in your business, and who are they?
Hugely important in the success of the operation. We've got a number of amazing associates. We've been fortunate enough to attract associates from not only a broad walks of life, but also of a broad age range too, and a broad and culturally diverse background too. So, and what I think that does is it really makes us strong as a team. Our associates have got background in finance. They come from large corporate finance. We have associates that come from small accounting practices. In one case, who was a partner in an accounting practice before moving into law. So what I find is that gives us a very good insight into commercial disputes, anything where there's a need for numbers as well as words. But we have, our associates come from a large range of places, and Ron, I tell you that every day, we have fun, and every day they help us as a team achieve our purpose as a team.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm indebted to not only the associates, but also the support staff of Mark Gustavsson and Associates and Oceanic Legal and Migration.
And I think the best thing about it is with having different backgrounds, it means that when you do have a client that comes to you that may have a couple of different issues in the one situation, you can get advice from those other associates and then put it all together as a package.
Yeah, well, that's correct. I think I should also add that we're quite linguistically diverse too. So we've got a French speaker on the team, Hindi, Punjab, Gujarati, just to name a few of the languages that we can speak. So not only if you've good firm to turn to if you've got an array of issues, but also if you are more comfortable speaking in a different language that might not necessarily be English, it's quite likely that we're able to accommodate.
And that really helps because, to explain something when English isn't your first language and making sure that you're getting all the right information out can be quite hard. And this way, you can be relaxed and knowing that your message is getting across, that they understand your situation. I think that's a great thing, and that's the diversity what we're having now in modern society. And as you said, this is the progressive nature of your organisation. It's not the stuffy, back-end office in the chambers where they were not seeing the client, basically. You go and see the junior now you've got this range of people that people can see and use.
No, absolutely. And it's very consistent with our philosophy of wanting to break down the walls and break down barriers and improve people's access to justice. We want people to know that no matter what situation they're in, whether they're a small business, whether their turnover is $500,000 a year, whether it's $50,000 a year, whether it's $5 million a year, they've got options. And that legal services is something that anyone can access. And that's really what we want, the message we want to be putting out there.
And I think that's the best message, because what you just said, two things is options. You've got to have those options, and that's what you can give them when you have a range of people like you do in your association. And also, I think it comes down to justice. And this is what I want to speak about. Mark, look, I want our listeners to know about this. You won an appeal in the New South Wales Court of Appeal in relation to a franchising dispute with a national pizza chain. And MGA was successful in winning this appeal despite having basically no experience in the Court of Appeal, in appeal in general, and also in the Sydney civil procedure. I really want to know more about this, how you did it, and can you give some background on the case and how you got the best outcome for your clients. Now, Mark, I want our listeners to know about this. You won an appeal in the New South Wales Court of Appeal in relation to a franchising dispute with a national pizza chain. MGA was successful in winning this appeal despite having basically no experience in the Court of Appeal, in the appeal work in general, or the Sydney civil procedure. I really want to know more about how you did this. Can you give some background on the case and how you got the best outcome for your client?
Yeah, look, there's a couple of really good questions in there, Ron. Look, it's probably not appropriate for me to comment too much on the case in circumstances where the case is continuing litigation in South Australia.
Yeah.
You know, I would refer probably your listeners to the news reports that have been released on the case, because there has been articles written about it, which details the background of the case and just what's going on. But I think at a more of a higher general level, we do a lot of work in the consumer protection space.
Yeah.
Whether it's for franchisees or other consumers, we do a lot of work helping people prosecute misleading conduct claims, unconscionable conduct claims, and unfair contract term claims. Recently, Parliament have released amendments to Australia's unfair contract terms regime, and that's something that our firm, MGA, is all across. You know, we've got a number of cases. We're relying upon the unfair contract terms regime, and we do this kind of litigation, as I said, not only for franchisees, but also for a broad range of consumers. So if you have a business, or if you're an individual, you don't have a business, but you've signed a contract and there's something in there that doesn't just quite feel right, or maybe there's been some conduct that doesn't feel right that you've suffered as a result from, it could be that there's case there, just like there's a case for the ex-franchisees in this matter.
And it's really good to know that your firm and your associates are across this. So if that matter does come up with someone, that you can advise them correctly and know that you've done the groundwork, basically.
Yeah, that's right. And look, we've got connections with people who I will call, colleagues and friends who are involved in large class actions, consumer protection class actions, and we will speak about new opportunities under the law to advance people's interests, protect people's consumer right, and as well as we'll share ideas about how to best advocate in court and outside of court as well for those people who need protection.
I think that's your drive, Mark, is, you go in there, you bat, you win, and you go to another one, because at the end of the day, you're doing the justice, and that's what basically is driving you for the next one.
Look, we speak about justice, but mate, we're here to win for our clients.
Yeah.
And we're here to win for the right side of the dispute. We're not here to put up walls for the wrongdoers.
Yes.
We do a lot of hunting, a lot of investigation work, and naturally led us into other areas too. So we do a lot of asset recovery too.
Yeah.
For liquidators, for accountants, where money's gone missing, where assets have gone missing, where businesses have continued trading after going insolvent. And, we get involved with a number of accountants around Adelaide to help bring in the money.
And you're also a turnaround consultant as well, aren't you?
I'm not a turnaround consultant, but I do a lot of work with turnaround practitioners. I think there's always a place to liquidate a company, but sometimes there is also a place not to liquidate a company. Sometimes that when you do have viable businesses there,
Yeah.
sometimes with the right turnaround practitioner, you can actually turn a business around and create a positive outcome for everyone. Not only the individuals in the business, but the society more at large, the employees who rely on that business, the customers who frequent the business,
Communities too. Some of these are in small communities, and if a certain business closes, the town has nothing.
Yeah, that's correct. And I really, what I think I really value is, or really admire the work of, is the work of the team at the Association for Business Restructuring and Turnaround.
Yeah,
the ABRT.
Yes,
they're doing a lot of work to advocate for the new profession that's been created under the Corporations Act of registered turnaround practitioners.
Yes.
As you know, recently there's been changes to the Corporations Act to create this new class of turnaround practitioner, and been great seeing the ABRT advocate for increased ethical codes and standards and regulations around how proper restructuring can be done. So we certainly get involved with turnaround practitioners at that level to help them navigate legal requirements and ultimately deliver good outcomes for the clients that we do the work for.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant that you're doing that. It gives me comfort to know that it's not just a matter of closing doors. There may be an option, and now we're exploring those options legally.
Yeah, that's right.
Look, I want to publicly congratulate you because you're also Australasian Lawyers Rising Star Award winner for 2022, and you've also been nominated for the Australian Law Award for 2023 Young Private Practice Lawyer of the Year for 35 and under. How does it make you feel knowing that you've been acknowledged from your peers?
It was quite unexpected, Ron, and it kind of came out of the blue in a really large way. It feels good, to receive that recognition. But look, I don't really think about it too much. I try not to let those kind of things, you try not to let yourself get distracted by accolades and commendations, because I figure the more you're thinking about that, less you're thinking about the work.
Yeah, yes.
So I certainly appreciate the award, and I know the other candidates who were put forward for the Rising Star Award. I'm sure they're equally as capable.
Yes, and
I'm sure they're all doing great work, just like we are at Mark Gustavsson and Associates. But I really just keep it focused on the work. Mm-hmm. There was a quote by Barack Obama which I really live my work life by, which is, when things can become overwhelming and you're not sure what to do, you just stay focused on the work.
Yeah.
And I think I've paraphrased him. I don't think that's the actual word for word quote, but that's how I calibrate my thinking. It's, it's keeping about the client, it's keeping about the work that we do, and keeping about always just getting better at the games that we play as dispute lawyers. So
I think you're very humble in saying that, because it's your clients that got this award as well, I suppose, because without them and your drive and determination, you wouldn't have been recognised. So I think that your clients and you won the award together in a way, because they were the ones that drove you to get a good outcome for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'll say again, it's that trust that they place in us, which we try to live to every day. And without them, none of this would have happened. So, I certainly would agree with that, Ron, 100%.
And, as I said, congratulations. I know that you're focused, and that's the main thing here. But, it's good to know that you're on the right track and that people can see that you are doing good.
Oh, thanks, Ron.
So, Mark, let's look at the services that you provide. We've touched on them throughout this podcast and radio show, but what services can you provide for your clients?
So, as a specialist disputes firm, we obviously do a lot of litigation work. So, court resolution of disputes between businesses. We deal in civil and commercial type disputes. So that can be anything involving inter-business money, liquidations, bankruptcies, things of a more civil nature like defamation. But in addition to the litigation and dispute resolution work that we do, we also, of course, can help people on from a preventative side as well. So if you're looking to stay out of disputes, we can also help people with that. So that's things like contract advisory, looking at contracts, contract preparation. We do a little bit of business conveyance work as well. So if you're looking to sell or buy a business, we can get involved and help make sure that process happens smoothly.
Yes.
And I think one of our other primary offerings is we do a lot of private funding and private finance type work too. So if you're looking at taking a private loan, or if you're looking at giving a private loan, we've had clients that are small lending organizations, and we've assisted them through preparation of private funding documentation. We've helped people borrow money. So finance disputes, banking and finance type issues we can also advise on, typically for the consumer side, for the borrower side. Yes. But certainly have experience on both sides of the court.
So there's a range of services that businesses can use. And of course, if there's something there that you don't specialise in, you can always refer them on to the right person.
Yeah, that's right. So in addition to the services that we've discussed, in addition to the somewhat white-collar crime investigation type work that we do, we also have referral relationships with a number of good firms around Adelaide that do personal injury, family law. Yeah. I should also mention actually that, so our sister firm, Oceanic Legal and Migration, which we've started recently, that handles all of our family law work, property conveyancing. Yeah. Property conveyancing is a big one that we do a lot of through Oceanic. Migration, of course, it's in the name, Oceanic Legal Migration. Yeah. So onshore, offshore application processing, we can handle that as well. Yeah. But certainly criminal, personal injury, matters like that, we would certainly refer to our trusted partners.
And I can definitely back you up on that, because you referred me over to someone and I got the outcome I wanted. So it was great that you gave me the right advice. So thank you. But what about the fees? Now, with anything we have to pay, how does fees work when it comes to business legal matters?
Look, Ron, that's a very good question. We offer a variety of fee arrangements depending on the situation. And I think what we do is actually very similar to what a lot of other small firms do, which is that where we can, we'll fix a fee or we'll cap a fee in order to deliver that certainty. But the thing is that with the work that we do in disputes, and particularly when we're dealing with complex disputes requiring a bit of an intelligent perspective, unfortunately, it's very difficult for us to charge other than just on rates which are just hourly based. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. We're not the cheapest, and that's something that we're proud of in the market. We aren't the cheapest, but I think the reason why we're still here 4 years in is because we do get results for our clients. So no matter whether you have a commercial dispute, whether it's a consumer protection claim, whether it's a liquidation or bankruptcy or insolvency type issue, we get results for our clients. We certainly, I think our fees, whilst they might not be bottom of the range, I think they reflect the good work and the good outcomes that we can deliver for the people we work for.
And I think that's what the important thing is. Like, your fees are representing the outcomes you're getting. So therefore, as they say, you pay for what you get. And when it comes to law, I don't want to have the cheapest. I don't want to be overcharged, but I don't want to have the cheapest, that knowing that they're doing the minimum amount of work. And what you've told us, and every time I've gone into where your work premises are, you're always doing something. You're never stopping. I never see any of your associates ever not on the phone talking to a client or doing some sort of research. So, you're definitely working for your clients from basically sun up to sundown, and probably even after that.
I was having a joke with one of the associates at work actually the other day, Ron, because I had a dream about one of my matters. Yeah. And I've been wrestling over how to solve a particular issue. And just while I was sleeping, I figured it. Yeah. And I just woke up that morning. I kind of chuckled to myself because I went, wow, it's not even when I'm sleeping I get reprise. But look, I think what we always try and do, we're a small business as well. We are a small business. So we always try and identify opportunities to deliver value for the spend. Now, I don't say that to drop a hackneyed phrase, but if you're going to chase 20K, for example, we're not going to recommend you spend 30. Yeah. For instance. Yes. But sometimes, unfortunately, if you've got someone who's chasing you for $200,000, sometimes it might be worth spending 30 grand, 35 grand, 40 grand to make that go away. That's the value there. It's getting rid of a hoo-ha claim. Yeah. And we can do that.
Exactly right. Look, doing that, spending 30 or 40,000 on something that will affect you for the rest of your life may cost you more than you could ever imagine. And then it can also save you because you can continue on with your business and expand, make more money, put more people on. So, it's definitely, as you said, sometimes you got to spend some money to continue the good things that you want to do in life.
That's right. And I think you've got to see it as just a necessary business expense.
Yeah, that's
what it is.
That's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
Look, Mark, there are many law firms that people can choose. To summarise for our listeners, why do you think they should use Mark Gustavsson and Associates? Why would you be a good choice?
Look, the reason there are a lot of good firms out there. I have a lot of colleagues who work in other firms around Adelaide, and I actually refer work to them often.
Yeah.
Such as when we're at capacity or when something's just outside of our area of expertise. I think that you'd come to us if you've got a complex issue where you don't necessarily know the answer, or maybe you can't see the answer, and you need a team behind you that can mobilize fast, intelligent, knows the law, and particularly in the areas of corporate commercial litigation, that's when you'd come to us. We've got those relationships. We know the rules of the game. If you're in court, if you've got a court issue, whether it's in South Australia, Queensland, Victoria, New South Wales, that's when you'd come to a firm like Mark Gustavsson and Associates. When you want to know you can come to someone to represent you 150%, to be behind you 150% of the way, and to advocate and represent and give voice to your very best interests. And look, I think say, look, no one's perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone's got skeletons in the closet, right? And we're not here to judge either. So one of the jokes I like to make, Ron, is if you accidentally burn the house down, we always like to say it's the builder's fault for making the house just so flammable.
I love that. Look, I can definitely say that it is good to have someone that is across the board in different states. So, if you're here in Adelaide or you've got something, we cross borders all the time, and that's what your firm can do. You're not just Adelaide based and say, look, I can't touch things in other states. You've got that relationship to be able to do that. So you know that you can stay in Adelaide and have people representing you interstate, which is, I think, very important as well.
And that's correct. We also have clients who actually ask to fly us interstate too. So whilst South Australia is our primary place of practice, we're not stranger to the idea of having short day trips to go and appear in courts interstate.
Yeah, and that's great. And that's what it's about. It's about you being flexible for your clients. Look, Mark, if people want to contact you to partner with you on their legal matters, or they need some legal advice, what's the best way they can contact you?
Look, I think the best way to contact us is through our social media pages. We've got an Instagram page, on Facebook. Just search Mark Gustavsson and Associates. We're on LinkedIn as well. Alternatively, you can look at our website, mgandassociates.com.au, or just contact us, 0870797651.
And we're going to have all that information on all of our social media pages, Podcast City, and also the Adelaide Project, and in the show notes, so that you'll be able to contact Mark if you need to. Mark, thank you for taking the time out to talk to our listeners and to let them know more about Mark Gustavsson and Associates. And I really appreciate you joining us today.
No worries, Ron. Thanks for having me, and it's great to be here.
Today on the Adelaide Project Business Spotlight podcast and radio show, we have been speaking with Mark Gustavsson from Mark Gustavsson and Associates, a law firm looking at changing the way people see the legal profession. This podcast is brought to you by Podcast City. If you'd like more information about starting your own podcast, from planning and producing your own podcast, recording, editing, filming, and distributing your podcast to the world, go to podcastcity.com.au. I'm Ron Fiedler for the Adelaide Project Business Spotlight. Until next time, bye for now.